Good up.
This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain Podcast.
I had one of my fucking Irish pubs. I remember I saw the Guinness rep just literally come over, and the guy says, "Where's my money?" Puts down a literally an envelope
Just
full
a
of cash
stack. Jesus
on the
Christ.
bar. And says, "All right, I'll be back with the swag later today." And it's like, I'm paying you to give you swag. And it was just like, it's how blatant it was that.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, yeah!
That thing seems super loud.
It does.
Yeah.
I'll turn it down. Keep going.
Thanks, Doug. Everybody out there is like, what the fuck? Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. My name is Matt McLaren. Here as always with Ron Swarner. How's it going?
Like a mouthful of bread.
Yeah. Our fantastic guest brought the perfect fucking present today. A huge loaf of homemade sourdough bread. Bethany, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Very good. I'm also chewing on all this delicious bread.
So good.
Yeah. So our guest today is somebody that we've been planning on talking to for a little while, specifically because there's a few reasons, but industry veteran, not only from here, but also from a spot that we happen to have a weird collection of listeners, because this dude worked in New York for quite some time. And shout out to all you people in New York who seem to be downloading this thing every single week. We love and appreciate you, and this one's for you guys. Billy Manton is our guest today.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What's up, man?
Welcome.
Seriously,
Thank you so much.
We're super pumped. Ron, I know Ron's heard a couple of the New York tales so far, and I don't know, cannot stop gushing about it. So I'm excited to hear some of this stuff because you and I have never really talked about it. Mm-hmm. Before we get into that, though, thank you for bringing bread.
No.
This is fucking lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
We should have had you here for the fermentation episode because I brought store-bought sourdough.
Never good enough.
I know, never good enough. I talked a lot of shit about it the whole time. Glassy crust. It is so good. Yeah, what are you drinking, man?
So I'm having some Hourglass, which is the newest release from Narrows. It's bringing back a bit of an old one. We haven't made this one back since 2020. I'm still saying we.
I was going to say, are you still saying we?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been 2 weeks. Give me a break.
Hard transition.
Yeah, they made this one back in 2020. It's still one of Narrows' top rated beers of all time.
Well, you can say we for that because you were there.
That's fair.
For that, we made this.
I made it personally. It wasn't Zach or anybody.
It wasn't Zach yet.
No, Zach is still
Zach.
still the authority on any time Narrows makes a really crazy barrel aged beer or something. Especially with the Imperial Stouts. He's kind of the big taster of he's been with Narrows so long he knows
From day one.
From day one,
yeah.
so he knows exactly what people are looking for when it comes to those Imperial Stouts.
Zach's awesome.
I'm looking for more of a beard on him.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's
It's so weird when he shaved it.
the amount of people who was just when that beard went off that they thought we hired somebody new. It was just that was what he was known with. It'd be the same if you shaved your beard now.
But his was twice as.
Oh yeah, no, his
Twice
was
as long.
wide.
his was he probably could give Rasputin a run for his money when he was at his longest.
Totally.
He's shaved it all.
Oh yeah.
That's
I haven't
so
seen
strange.
it. Yeah, I wouldn't
Oh,
recognize it.
dude. Yeah, I want to say I saw him at a ball game or something, a Rainiers game or something like that. And Arena was like, isn't that the quiet guy from Narrows? And I was like, no. And then he turned around and was like, holy shit, it sure is. He looks like a different person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no longer looks like the sea god.
Right.
Ron, what are you drinking, man?
I am drinking all the Narrows. So I have the Hourglass also, but also their Fathom CDA with all the roast, by the way.
Which is delicious.
Super roasty.
Very roasty, very coffee forward.
Yeah.
Bethany, what do you have?
I've got the hourglass as well, and I want to try the CDA next.
Doug is also on mic. I didn't say that, but what's up, Doug?
Hi, Doug.
Doug's mouth was full of sourdough bread. What are you drinking?
This is also the same thing, the Narrows.
Well,
The
fuck.
CDA.
I feel silly for drinking Russian River.
It's delicious.
Yeah, but
I'll get Narrows in
which
the break.
one
I
is
mean,
Consecration.
Yeah, okay.
Which, like...
pass?
yeah.
Yeah.
You have a pass.
I thought you said pass.
No, you have a pass.
I was like, damn, Ron, are you trying to fight?
No, that's an amazing beer.
Pass.
You get a pass.
Got it.
I also have the Sea Pine Mosaic Pale in front of me. That's delicious.
Good call. Palate cleanser between hourglass sips.
And the sourdough bread, yeah.
And good call. So yeah, obviously we joked about it a little bit, but the we is now they for Narrows.
Yeah.
As of a few weeks, you said?
Yeah, I left 2 weeks ago, getting ready to do something just a little bit less public facing, going a bit more back into the behind the scenes kind of thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be super specific, but do you have something like?
Oh yeah, no, I got a gig lined up that I'm pretty excited for.
Right
So
on.
gonna be working a bit more, like I said, just behind the scenes, still in the beer world.
Cool. I love that. I'm glad you're not leaving the beer world.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
making some beer.
Being awfully coy.
No, I'm actually gonna be working for a draft tech. Working on that for a while.
Cool.
Which not like it's one of those
Now
things where
Bethany wants to
definitely like
fight.
the longer
Yeah, right.
yeah, the longer you work in the industry, the easier it is to just tell when people don't maintain their draft systems. Like I've had multiple accounts that they tell me like, oh man, I took on a beer from Narrows and it tasted so good at your guys' brewery, and why does it not taste that way here? Like, and I'm just like, oh, when was the last time you cleaned our lines? They're like, that's the thing you do. That's the thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't drop any of those names, but it's more than I would like to think. In
Bethany
this,
already
this
knows
time.
them.
Yeah.
Just every cold call where you've had beer there, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't need you." You're like, "No, but you do though."
Yeah.
Why does like every pint I pour have 3 pints worth of foam that come out in the process? Like,
God. It smells like toenails.
yeah,
It's gross, but so are dirty lines. So
I'm going to be talking to
Yeah.
my local dive bar because I've gotten to the point with them where I only order bottled or well drinks at their place, and I'm just like, hey guys, you can afford a cleaning. Like,
Here's $10.
yeah,
For the cause.
it's only 19 Tito's and sodas worth of money every week. Please just clean your fucking draft lines.
Yep. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. We chatted a little bit about about part of like stepping away from being more public facing in the industry, and I feel like you had a valid take on it. That when you and I talked about it, I thought it was something that I didn't even consider, from my side of the industry. But do you feel like talking a little bit about why you stepped away from the more public facing part of the beer world?
yeah, so for anybody who's not super keened in, there was this whole big thing about a certain beer in a blue can that happened last year. A lot of people just getting really, really horny for taking guns to products they buy for some reason.
My God.
But it's one of those things that, like, for a lot of people on the outside, and I've had to explain to so many people that it was just like, it felt like very theoretical and like, oh yeah, that's a thing that like a couple of jackasses are doing on like Instagram and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to a point where like I just started like once that started happening, so many bar owners and people in the industry kind of on all sides of things just started kind of letting loose with all of their most rancid takes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And as a queer non-binary person, like it was pretty just kind of rough for me to hear that, especially as somebody who was not out at work, just because working all over the entirety of the Pacific Northwest, there are plenty of places that are more accepting, there are plenty of places that are not as accepting.
Right.
So I had made the choice kind of when I started with Narrows not to be open about that part of my identity. But it was the kind of thing that it got to a while where it was just like, I had just kind of been like kind of keeping my head down. There were like a lot of things that I was really working with at Narrows, and I was able to kind of like push it out of my mind for a while. But like, I don't know how much people realize like how bad it got. Like specifically, Narrows worked with all Anheuser-Busch distributors.
Yep.
And we got to a point where like I had people from my distributors who were being like, assaulted on the job. I have a friend of mine who was literally almost, especially like more up north, like up in like our Arlington territory and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
Like I literally had like there's a buddy of mine, like he was a rep for the Snohomish area. He was driving around in his Bud Light van. He literally had 2 truckers try to smoke and abandon him. Like just literally drive him off the road. And it was like one of those things where people are like, oh yeah, like the Bud Light thing, like it's just a whole bunch of people making noise about nothing. And it's like, well, for people working in the industry, specifically alongside Anheuser-Busch distributors, like it was the kind of thing where like it's a real issue as far as like really affecting people's jobs and people's lives. And like it was the thing that I didn't realize how bad it was until I kind of saw the end of 2023 numbers and seeing that in the Tacoma area, Bud Light was down 35%. And it was one of those things where it was just kind of like that last little like nail in the coffin of like, I know that I could never really be out as myself here just because I don't want to see Narrows suffer like in that way.
Sure.
And like, obviously, like, it's there's the part of it where it's like, wouldn't necessarily everybody pull it if I like was out about my identity? No, not necessarily, but it's very easy to, if somebody is upset by that, to just never actually tell me, pull all of my products, and then just say it's for another reason.
Right, and then let a local business that is trying to thrive just die.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Just to get involved in the culture war.
Dude, you were being really, like, vague about it. Yeah. If you, I'm going to be specific, because if people haven't been keeping up, I feel like it was everywhere. But so, like, Bud Light made a special can for a popular Instagram influencer who had transition genders and like didn't announce that they were any kind of partner in anything or marketing or anything. It was literally just like sent them a can with their face on it.
Which, like, for perspective as well, like, is a thing that they do to thousands of influencers a year. They do it to tons of different people, and it's like it doesn't even require that you have some kind of cross promotion. They just give it to you, and they're like, hey, if you want to give us a shout out, great. If not, whatever. Here's a can with your face on it. Dylan Mulvaney decided to do a video that got the amount of different ways that I heard people like take that information and run with it to be like, oh yeah, they're sending us out on ocean shores. They're sending nothing but cans with her face on it and the trans pride flag, which is like, no, not at all.
Never
not even Seattle. Like, not even Seattle would get that kind of stuff. That was a one-off.
Not even
can.
bars in Capitol Hill.
It was a one-off can made for a fucking 21-year-old girl, and like she got like literally. You still even see now if you turn on. I had Fox News on at the fucking gym the other day, and I saw like
people still
the Dylanization of America. Like, oh my god, just like. Leave it alone. Like, a girl drank a beer. Like, what the fuck? Like,
everybody pooped their Pampers about it. And then I'm like, honestly, Kid Rock's tantrum that he threw about that, like, not going to dig too hard into it, but that was one of my favorite things that I've ever seen online ever, is Kid Rock crying and firing like an assault rifle into a 12-pack of Bud Light. It's fucking awesome. It was the I don't know.
So I did want to bring up, just because this is one of my my partner's favorite like party questions, and I feel like this is a good appropriate time to bring it up. What is everybody's favorite piss beer? Like, has to come in a 30 rack. Like, specifically, like, it could be anything from like Rainier all the way up to like Coors Light.
Can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
Hams.
That's
It's not piss beer. It's actually really good. And a blind taste test. It's very tasty.
It's a loving category of piss
I like
beer.
how everybody justifies their piss beer choice. It's actually really good.
I'm with her.
Yeah.
Your hams too?
Yeah.
I actually agree too.
Really?
Yep.
I'm the only Rainier sitting at this fucking table? God. Does Rainier come in a 30 rack? Yeah, it has to.
Yeah, it comes in a 30 rack.
I should know that. I sold Rainier for like 4 years.
You definitely get like 30 rack Rainier at Costco.
Okay, I'm the only Rainier at the table.
Yeah, I am a Northeast loyalist. I either go for a Narragansett or a Genesee. Those are my two. I'm actually, later tonight, I'm going to be going down to one of my favorite bars in Seattle, and they are like one of the only places I know in Seattle that sells Genesee, because they're a Buffalo bar.
Oh, whoa, cool.
Yeah, if you guys have not been, Vindictive Wings in Seattle, they're a newer spot. Like,
you were the second motherfucker in a week to tell me to go to this place.
Dude, it's so good. I mean, like, I literally have...
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to be the draft tech of Vindictive Wings?
Yeah.
No, they're just like, their wings are insane. Like, they're a bit smaller than you would, like, normally think. You'd be like, oh, I don't necessarily love it. But, like, the texture, the flavor, everything about it is just so fucking on point.
All right,
Yeah,
grit and grain
even
road
the logo,
trip.
it's like AC/DC.
Oh, yeah. they're very like, and it's also like a bunch of guys who've like we're just kind of doing a pop-up restaurant. They started doing it. They don't have like formal restaurant experience, but like the amount of chefs and like, head bartenders I've been hearing just be like, yeah, no, that is like the best new restaurant in Seattle. Like, oh my just God. These guys who are running a pop-up out of their house and they moved to a storefront.
That's
like,
fucking awesome. Yeah, second person I've heard in like less than a week tell me to go to this place. And I fucking love wings. Has anybody else, not that this is a wings podcast, but I do have a question. Has anybody else been to Tracyton up in Bremerton?
Nope.
All right.
I have, but I haven't had their wings.
Dude, they're so good. And it's hard for me to imagine any wings being better than theirs because theirs are like absolutely fantastic.
Like I said, I consider like wings one of my top 3 foods like of all time, and these guys have like blown.
Which is fair because you're kind of from where that shit was invented.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little bit farther away from us. But I had a buddy of mine in college who was from Buffalo, and every time she would like go home for winter, she would like bring a big old bag of Duff's back for us. So I got to have like the leftover original Duff's wings. So
that's awesome. Well, yeah. I kind of want to. I want to hear about New York.
All right, yeah.
So how long were you like in the industry over there?
So I was in the industry like between different parts of the industry. I was in it for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. Started working in the Whole Foods in Williamsburg, which is like the largest Whole Foods in Brooklyn. Has like a 20 fridge beer section. Like this is the kind of place where like I in a day they could do $1 million in beer sales. Yep. Like it's insane. Like,
fun fact, that specific Whole Foods in Brooklyn was the first stop I made when I went to New York the first time. We stayed in Brooklyn and I went to that Whole Foods and I think I bought like 4 Evil Twin beers.
Well, so actually like one of my favorite parts about that job, and this is going to be probably past the statute of limitations on this one, is that we had this big binder of like any time that somebody wanted a single of something, we had like individual stickers. So it's like, you want like this Grim or other half can or something. Like you get a single one, we'll just have to put this special sticker on it because otherwise it rings up as a 4-pack. And so what we would do is a lot of the time, because the cashiers didn't know shit from shit, is we would just take like a Bud Light or a Narragansett sticker, stick it on whatever Evil Twin or other half or Grim beer you wanted, and just like ring it up like, yeah, this is a $1.50 beer. Like
that's fucking awesome and so illegal.
It was like one of those things, and that was like kind of when I was first really getting into the beer scene. And like I still think back to my job after that was I got into distribution, and I think like one of the biggest ones for me is I remember I was with this place, Handcraft Kitchen, and the buyer there, this guy Alex, he just pulls out a can of Grim and he slaps down the bar in front of me and he says, "I paid $6 for that can in a Whole Foods. How do I get in on this racket?" Like, which was like it was nice because I sold Grim at the time. So like the distributor I worked for was Union Beer out in New York, which they're mostly a craft beer centric brewery. They distribute the Budweiser products in Brooklyn and Queens, but I was a Manhattan rep, so I was exclusively working on their craft side of things. Nice. Really cool part about Union is Union has this huge craft portfolio. They got like 200 or so craft beer
but nothing
brands.
from the South.
Like, oh, we have a Beta.
Okay.
It kind of counts.
Yeah. Hey, it counts enough. Hey, and we had I was gonna say, we have that Asheville brewery, and I'm like, no, there's a bunch of Asheville breweries. We have Burial. Burial was another one that we had.
Damn, I want Burial.
But yeah, no, it was super cool just because like it was the kind of the big names in New York beer distribution for Manhattan were Manhattan Beer, who's kind of like your Columbia out here. Like, they got like a lot of those big name brands. They're like the Coors House. Anheuser-Busch had literally a pre-prohibition contract that allowed them to self-distribute in the Isle of Manhattan. Wow. So like that was the whole reason why we did not have the rights to them. It's like, yeah, this contract from 1880. Like,
yeah, they have it fucking framed so they can like blow the dust off every time somebody tries to like fight them on it.
And then there was SKI, who was just like kind of like a Northwest guy, like smaller kind of guy. So it was like we had this really cool portfolio where like we had a lot of like Union was kind of a lot of like those like OG like national craft brands were kind of with Union. So we had like Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas,
nice.
Bell's, Allagash, a lot of those kind of guys. Like
fucking Allagash.
Yeah. Oh my God. I loved selling Allagash. Back when I had my territory, I think I was like the second highest Allagash territory in New York City.
Sick.
Which was pretty wild.
That's awesome.
Like the amount of just straight up Allagash white that is just blown through in Manhattan. Like you don't see a blue moon line up there. It's all Allagash white. Like
God, that sounds like heaven.
it's great.
Ugh.
Nice.
I know. I'm just like daydreaming about Allagash. I need to call those guys.
So they're
On
actually
your
like
to-do list.
they're some of the sweetest folks ever. We actually, my partner and I, we had our honeymoon up in Portland, Maine, and we got like a nice VIP tour of the Allagash facility. I have some photos of me and her just in the cool ship.
just hanging out in
Yeah.
the.
It was like one of those
awesome.
things where it's like that's not open to the public, but like when you know the right people, they'll bring you in. So
That's so cool.
where do I got it here? Where do I have it on my other Instagram?
Billy, what was it like to deliver in New York?
So I did not have to deliver in New York, thank God. But like the amount of stories that I had of just like having to work with our dispatchers to deliver in New York is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, you know, a sheer driving like some of those trucks and stuff through New York City streets. Like, you know, when you're driving one of those semis, you're basically blocking a street for the entirety of your delivery. So like I would have, and especially like, you know, some of your bigger accounts and stuff, when they know that like they're one of the bigger guys, they're like very comfortable just throwing their weight around with stuff. So one of my biggest accounts, it was like a 40-line big soccer bar in the middle of Chelsea. And it was, they had like, normally when you had a delivery window, it was supposed to be a 6-hour delivery window. They said you will get a 2-hour delivery window. And if you were not done within that time, I'm rejecting the order. This was a place that would order between 20 and 30 kegs every week. So every once in a while, like, you know, a driver would just be like, yeah, no, I got held up in traffic or something. I would get this call from my boss the next day of like, why was $3,000 worth of product rejected and sent back to our warehouse?
I
And
would
I'm just
not
like,
make it in New York.
oh yeah, no, it's so the other big thing about the New York City beer scene that was like one of the biggest culture shocks coming out here is just that when you're in New York, there are credit terms allowed on buying beer. So in Washington,
That's so wild. to
yeah.
me.
So in Washington, when beer is delivered, you got to pay for it right away. You just got to hand them a check, or you don't get the beer.
Yep.
In New York, you're given 3 weeks for beer, 30 days for liquor.
Oh, wow.
So every beer rep is not only a beer rep, but they're also a mafioso-style debt collector.
Dude, yeah, I'm like, I can't even imagine the conversations.
Oh yeah, no. So it's like, you know, you have like a wonderful conversation where it's like, hey man, like, you know, Sierra's got this new double IPA out. I think it'll work great for you guys. Price point's great. Allagash got this new thing, and hey, about that $2,000 you owe me.
Yeah.
And it's just like full stop on the conversation
God,
you're having. Like,
Selling beer is already hard enough for so many reasons. And if I had to try to sell beer to somebody that I couldn't actually get to put an order in until I collected their previous late check, fucking hell.
well, so not only that,
Swim
it's
with the
also
fishes.
the way the New York State Liquor Authority works is that if you go delinquent with one of your distributors, you get put on this list where you have to pay cash on delivery with all of your other distributors.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of the other big reasons why there's not really a self-distro scene out in New York. Because people are like, I only want to have to think about like these 3 people, and these are the 3 people who could possibly be fucking me over. So like I get calls at 5 a.m, just like, wow, my guy just got here. Why am I on SLA? And I'm like, I didn't report you. Somebody else reported you. And then like he's like, help me find out who reported me. And it's just like I have no control over this. Like you just like the only thing the state has is a system that says somebody reported you.
It's also wild that they would try to recruit you to like find out who it was so that they could retaliate somehow. You're like,
Oh no, and it's like it's the kind of thing as well where it's like, you know, and I know for a fact I was talking to an old buddy of mine who used to work in Manhattan with me. We were talking about like, yeah, and there was like also a huge culture of just like you get really friendly with some of your bar owners, and you'd be like, you know, come, you get the $2,500 check from somebody, and they're like, hey, so I know this is due on Thursday, but if you could say you lost this and deposit it on Friday, I'd really appreciate it. Like, and these are for like huge bars, and I'm just like, how are you operating like this?
you're like, I'll do it, but I have a Lagunitas incentive next month, and you're gonna fucking help.
Hey, to be fair, that account ended up becoming the fastest moving Sierra Nevada hazy little thing sixtel handle on the East Coast.
Let's go.
Wow. It was they ordered about between 20 and 30 a week
Holy
of sixtels. Like that's insane. And it was they should have just had half barrels, but they were literally running a 6-line kegerator out of like a giant Manhattan bar.
Changing a keg every 45 minutes.
Exactly.
How many of those stairways down to the cellar are still from 1780?
Oh my God! So many of them, like so many, like just tiny little like things that like drivers have to schlep kegs down. Like, and I heard so many horror stories about like deliveries made in New York. Like one of my accounts, there was a driver who decided he was going to roll a half barrel through a revolving door in a fancy hotel bar, just went straight through. Yeah, so I get a call from my boss, and I'm just like, hey, so like this really fancy high-end hotel bar, we just broke their revolving door. Can you handle
Just
this?
pushing the keg into the glass.
Hell, and that's honestly, that's one of the better ones. Like we had some of the guys like, it is, as somebody who's delivered beer as well, we know the importance of securing a keg. Onto your hand cart. And the bad side of that is I literally had a case of somebody who was bringing a keg down a flight of stairs. Keg fell down, started running down the stairs. Guy was coming by, hit him in the arm, shattered his forearm.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's, 170 pounds of metal. Oh.
Yeah, no, not what you want coming at you.
God, man.
But yeah, no, I mean, so just the way like the whole New York City beer scene worked was so weird. And it was like so particular because the other big thing as well is it's just like it's so much younger. Like there's no old timers in like the New York City beer scene. It's just all like it's so like heavy on the body because it's like I walked 8 to 10 miles a day because it was a matter of like I could either take the bus or the subway or it would just be faster to walk. So I walked 8 to 10 miles a day. You have a case of beer on your back the entire time. I would have been in the greatest shape of my life if I wasn't constantly like just having nachos and chicken wings shoveled down my throat in every event.
Thin sliced pizza.
Oh yeah. I mean the amount of like dollar
support.
slices. I was just like, I gotta eat something or else I'm gonna pass out. Dollar slice, throw it in.
Did you have the world's best coffee there?
I don't. Which one is that?
The one in Elf.
God damn it, Ron.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
It's Ron's only New York reference. I've seen it in movies.
I will say
Shocking.
one of my cultural little touch marks for my area of Manhattan. Like the thing I was most sad about is that there was a 3-block stretch of my territory that was where they always filmed Billy on the Street. Like every single episode is in that
Sick.
same 3-block territory, and that was in my territory. I was just like, every once in a while, I'd just be like, "Is anything filming today? Like, is anybody around?" Like,
There's like 9 episodes of it where you're just in the back with your case of beer on your back, just walking by.
I do know one person who was on it, and they become like a little bit of a meme.
Really?
Yeah, it was somebody I went to college with where like Billy's like trying to start a thing with them and she just says no and he says why and she just goes because and runs away. Like
Sounds like a very New York interaction.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's a really crazy place to do beer. Like so many of the people who are doing it are all like also in their early 20s. Like it was the kind of thing where like if you were at Union for more than 2 years, like you were a manager or like just a lifer who like really wanted to. We only had like one lifer. Like out of like the 20 on-premise routes, we had like one person who had been there like, yeah, I've been here for 10 years. Like
10 years. You come over here and you meet Terry Richardson and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Oh yeah, you got guys out on routes here. It's like, yeah, I've been working the same route. There's been 3 different distributors in the time that I've worked on this route. Like,
oh my god, it's already been 30 minutes. I can't even believe it. But yeah, hang out for a little bit. We're gonna grab new beer. We'll be right back.
all right.
Hi, this is Eric Hanberg of Channel 253, and I want to thank you for listening to this podcast and all of the podcasts that we have in the network.
Yeah, this is producer Doug echoing that thanks and also saying that if you would like to support us with a membership, please go to channel253.com/membership and join. It's $4 a month or $40 a year, and it pretty much is the sole reason that we can come to you now with podcasts.
We are listener supported. You can help keep the microphones running. $4 a month, $40 a year. Channel253.com/membership if you want to check it out. And again, if you're a member, thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out during the break. As always, a shout out to Doug, who's
Ching,
awesome,
ching.
and we love Doug.
Doug! Woo!
Yeah, and on Channel 253. They're awesome.
What are you drinking, Doug? What are you drinking, Doug?
Did I forget already? Number 18. What's number 18?
E9.
Nice.
Swords and sorcery.
Something.
And sorcery.
No. Well,
that your-
that's what their invoice says.
That's your Maryland accent.
That's what their invoice
hazy.
says and keg caller says.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Then that's what it's called. It's illegal to not put the correct name on your
Hazy
keg collar.
delicious.
So
Really?
Yeah, you can't.
Shane was here when I found out, so I told him.
Okay, good. He's like, whatever. It's just what it's called now.
I don't even work here anymore, and I knew 18 was E9.
Well, see, it doesn't. I already have a bad
Are you talking shit
reputation
about
for
Ron and Phaedra, right?
No, I'm just trying. I'm just
saying.
giving myself.
You're
some
also not
props.
80 years old.
Close.
I already have a bad reputation for beer literacy, and I immediately come back from the bar and what do you drink?
Beer.
Something someone poured me.
Billy, what are you drinking, man? You have any
So
beer?
I have switched over to a Dogfish Sea Quench just because this
Awesome.
is one of my favorite things I used to sell back in New York.
That is a fantastic beer. And so, yeah, you sold Dogfish Head.
Yeah, so we got them. It was a pretty funny story because we got them right before they were acquired by Boston Beer. So our competitor who sold Sam Adams was so excited because they thought like, oh yes, like we're gonna get Dogfish Head now, and our contract did technically grandfather over that like acquisition. So it was just like everybody got super super excited because there was like all this new money coming into Dogfish Head, and it was just a matter of like, oh yeah, the Sam Adams folks are not seeing a cent of this. Like, but it was pretty crazy. I was there for like that whole big change. There was like
Yeah.
a lot of people within Dogfish's group very upset when that acquisition happened.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people like I remember I had this buddy Alyssa who was like one of the Dogfish reps, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I always thought we were like kind of the punk rock independent guys, and now we're being brought on to the biggest craft brewery in America that's technically craft."
Before you left, was Santo still being brewed in Indian and all that?
I think so. Yeah.
Because we can't get it out here anymore.
Yeah, no, we were definitely getting like, so I definitely got like, there were like a couple of accounts that I had that pretty much like anytime brewery sent in like the really, really fancy stuff, like it was just earmarked for some of these accounts. So like the Barcade in Chelsea, Taproom 309 over on the east side of things. But yeah, no, it was the kind of thing where it was just like, I got access to so many just like cool, crazy one-off beers just because like there are plenty of folks in my company who are like, yeah, no, we're just focusing on like, you know, our Lagunitas, our Bells, our Sierra Nevadas, getting those Carlsberg lines and things like that. But I was just like, I was very flat out with my boss from the beginning where I was just like, I am interested in more like high-end craft beer and like the accounts that I have give me a unique ability to sell that. So it'd be the kind of thing where, like, you know, I would always, like, get chastised, like, you're not getting enough of, like, our big selling products. And I'm like, but my territory is up, and I'm selling exclusively the stuff we make, like, crazy high margins on.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like Jeff Lee in it. Like,
The verb, Jeff Lee in it.
Yeah. That is the verb.
Where did you drink at? What was your favorite place to drink at?
oh, man. Favorite place to drink? I would definitely say, so my favorite was definitely Barcade Chelsea. Like, that was, like, by far and away my favorite place to work. Jake was the old manager there. He was the sweetest guy in the world. We got to a point where, like, just because I was so comfortable with him and I just, like, kind of gave him everything he wanted, we got to a point where, like, this was like a huge, like similar to you guys here at Pink's. It was like a big rotator bar. By the end of it, out of 28 lines, I had 26 of them, and the other two,
Let's fucking go.
and the other two,
Let him know.
and the other two were just corporate mandates. Like, and like the funniest
So
part.
basically a clean sweep.
So like one of the funniest parts about them too is like, so they have like they have in their company charter, like, you know, like only independent craft. So literally across the street from them was the Anheuser-Busch headquarters for Manhattan.
Oh, damn.
Like literally across the street. And they're just saying like, hey, listen, we'll come in here, we'll do a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 spend. Just give us some business in here. And Jake would always just tell him, just like, yeah, no, I mean, if you guys want to come in here and spend $5,000, I'm not going to stop you. But you're not getting a single dime. Like,
But there will be nothing in exchange for this.
oh yeah. No, but that's also like that's such a thing. Like in New York, it was just like the amount of pay for play is just like rampant and like
sure.
very just like openly talked about. Like it was like there. So like in
Dude,
my.
it happens in here. It happens
Oh
around
no!
here
Like
too, man.
it's more
wild.
it's the kind of thing of like I know it happens everywhere, but like I've not seen it anywhere as blatant.
Yeah, like the
as
audacity
New
of
York.
people. I've been doing, not to like, I've been doing this for like almost 10 years, and I think I've only ever had one place like seem to not understand that it's like the type of thing you don't talk about, and they like openly were like, I can only sell this stuff because these guys bought me my draft lines. they installed my thing for me, and I'm like,
say that
hey
to
man,
people,
did they like not tell you that that's like super illegal and you probably shouldn't talk about it the way you are to a competing distributor?
So it's like one of my stories I always like telling people of just like the very simple like how open it was in the nature of it is I remember I had this one bar that I will not say for the case of this story where I had gotten very close with the buyer there. We had been doing a lot more business together, but like Anheuser-Busch was still like the main kind of player in that bar, and I was just like, like why don't you give me some more business here, man? And he's like, I don't know. And the Anheuser-Busch rep comes in. She says, hey, I'll have 15 Goose Island IPAs. Hands over her credit card, gets rung up for them, and says, thank you very much, and leaves.
And believes, yeah.
Not a single beer poured.
Fucking wild,
Beers.
dude. Yeah.
No, but it was just like, that's just, and it's so common there. Like, literally, I had one of my fucking Irish pubs. I remember I saw the Guinness rep just literally come over, and the guy says, where's my money? Puts down literally an envelope
Just
full
a
of cash
stack.
on the
Jesus
bar, and says, all right, I'll be back with the swag later today. And it's like, I'm paying you to give you swag. And it was just like, it's how blatant it was like that. And I was talking about this a little bit on the break. Like the other big one is just pricing.
That's
like New York, like you're
dude.
allowed to adjust pricing by account. So it's just like, there would be bars I have where like literally anything they order, $30 off going through the door.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that was, like, one of those things for, like, my super high volume accounts where it's like, well, yeah, you order 30 kegs a week, so, yeah, we'll make something work. Like,
Man, that's wild. But yeah, by the time like beer laws got over to this side of the country, they were like, yeah, we can't do that anymore.
But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where, like, coming over to Washington after doing that was kind of like a nice breath of fresh air.
Sure.
For like, oh, man, I work for a small brewery, and there's not, like, this huge, insurmountable, like, hurdle that I need to hop over.
Sure.
Like, other people being able to offer you the moon and the stars. Like,
Right. Yeah, God. How was that? So, like, I mean, you work in this huge, bustling city with this insanely competitive and, like, kind of like ancient in its laws and stuff, like beer industry, and then you kind of come to Tacoma. Like, it does seem, you mentioned it was a culture shock.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it must have been crazy different.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, it's just, I mean, it's in so many ways. It's like not even just like down to like the laws and stuff like that, but just also the like flavor profile of what people are looking for. Like, nobody in New York's really making like barley wines and stuff like that. Like, you see the.
Ron's like, I'm definitely never going there now.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
And it was definitely one of those things where it's like, it took me a long time. Like, you know, it's like the lower ABV styles are what kind of sing over in New York City.
Sure.
So like New York is one of the few cities now that's still a Pilsner city over an IPA city.
Interesting.
Like, because it's largely because of the amount of European tourists. So,
That makes
like,
sense.
I had so many like Carlsberg and Bitburger lines, and like, you know, especially like when you're more in like the Midtowny area, like you're getting so many tourists and stuff like that. Where it's
Sure. So it's just geared towards them in general.
yeah, it's geared towards them in general, and like, you know, you definitely still see like, you know, plenty of like cool IPAs and stuff like that, but like never really saw barley wines. I'd occasionally see like a bourbon barrel aged
Even at
imperial
Church
stuff.
Key?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, if you go searching for them, you can find them.
But not every like bar with like 20 plus taps has a barley wine line.
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Ron
Like, they may
does.
bring in a barley wine every once in a while.
Right, for like
But
an event or something.
yeah, but it's like it's not like as constant of a presence as it is like out here. And like it's definitely the kind of thing as well where it's just like, you know, some of my favorite breweries, and this also is probably just part of like my own personal preference. Like, you know, I think one of the things that New York really sings with compared to the rest of the country is that New York has a really fantastic sour scene.
I agree with that actually.
Yeah, like
dude.
New York sour scene between like Grimm is kind of like the biggest one.
Grimm's
I've
awesome.
always loved Grimm. Talea is huge. KCBC.
Plan B's out there, right?
Yeah, Plan B.
Yeah, Plan B's great.
There were also like there were a lot of smaller ones as well. Like I had so many just fun New York breweries I really loved working with. Probably the one that I worked closest with in my time there was Six Point.
Okay.
So Six Point is my personal favorite New York-based brewery as far as
Okay.
like a larger brand. I think they've made some really fantastic stuff. They still have one of my favorite limited release beers of all time, which was their Spritzer Bomb. It was a collab with Sloop. They basically
right on.
They took the recipe of Sloop Juice Bomb, and then they found different wine grapes that paired with the different hops in Juice Bomb. So it was like this really like, and it was kind of like before a lot of people were doing like Phantasm and stuff like that. So it was like this so unique like wine beer hybrid.
Yep.
And also the label was just fucking killer.
It's awesome. I'm gonna go look it up now.
But it was
two fantastic breweries, though. There's no way it wasn't great.
It was super cool as well, just because like we had when I was working with that distributor, I had access to like their like little company clubhouse. So they did like limited releases where I'd get to go down once a month and I could literally just hang out with the taps, just trying all their experimental beers and stuff. Got to talk a lot with Eric Bombach, who was their old head brewer there. Used to be the head brewer over at Trillium.
Oh, damn.
Sweetest dude in the world. Was way too nice of a guy to be working for a brewery as large as Six Point. There was the time that like will always stick with me is there was this one release where it was I came up there and he's just kind of like sitting in the corner. He's a little bit sad and I'm just like, what's going on, Eric? And he's just like, oh man, well like my buddies over at Night Shift, they made this beer called Hoot, and we make this beer called Hootie, and now my lawyers are saying we got to sue them. And I don't want to sue them.
You're like, bro, you are not cut out for this.
It was just one of those kind of things where I'm just like, you're too sweet. You're too sweet for this industry. Like, you're too sweet for like having to be like that side of the industry,
totally.
where like you're making like those kind of big decisions. Like,
Oh my god, my lawyer says we have to sue them.
Did you ever venture down to Jersey?
Yeah, a couple of times. So I went down to like, as far as like the New Jersey beer scene over there, I went to like Carton a couple of
Carton,
times.
Augie.
We sold Carton as well, so that was like one of the big incentives there. I love in general, like especially like a lot of the scenes surrounding New York, like go up to the Hudson Valley.
Totally.
There's like so many fantastic things there. I mean, anytime you get a large swath of land where there's just like, just completely disheveled, large industrial buildings with high ceilings, you're going to get a fantastic brewing scene.
Totally true. What brought you to New York, or did you grow
Well, so I'm
up
from
there?
New York
You're
originally.
from there, okay.
Well, I'm from Long Island, and then I lived in Brooklyn for about 7 years.
Okay, nice. What brought you out here then?
So I came out here just because my partner and I had talked about coming out to Washington for a long time, just because her whole family is out here in Washington. As far as like her extended family and everything. So we had talked for a long time about coming out here, and then the pandemic happened, and we lived out the majority of the pandemic in New York, which was harrowing, but at the same time, it's one of those things that it's going to be really cool to have stories about for the rest of my life. We got to a point in 2021 where we're just like, all right, our lease is about to be up. Let's use this as an opportunity. We drove across the country, settled up in Seattle. It's always fun when I tell people I moved to Seattle to go to a small city.
That's awesome. Perspective, idiots.
Well, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I live in the Lower Queen Anne area, so like I'm in like a pretty busy part of the city, but like it never feels as imposing as like living in New York, even living in Brooklyn. Like,
that is wild. It's so funny that you're like, I live in like one of the busiest, craziest spots in Washington, like, and in Seattle, and you're just like, oh, it's nice and quiet here.
Oh yeah, it's all about perspective for sure.
Totally. What was an early hitter brewery when you first came out here? Like, did you have like an early favorite where you were like, yo, I fucking belong here?
What year was that when you moved?
So I moved here in 2021. Okay. And I would say that definitely, like, it took me a little while to get adjusted to the beer scene out here, because it's definitely, like I said, it's a bit just a lot more different. It took me a long time to find my sours, which, like, I feel that my personal favorite is definitely Urban Family. As far as, like, those Seattle-based breweries.
Good call.
Like, I love their sours. I think they make some really, really fantastic ones.
Yeah.
It took me also a long time in general that when I saw somebody say New England IPA, I didn't necessarily trust them.
Dude.
I still don't trust.
I remember I think it was like my first week in Seattle. I was at Queen Anne Beer Hall, and I think it was Fort George's Orange Whip. And I looked at it and it says, New England IPA, 60 IBUs. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
That's Fort side, and it's a fair critique.
sorry, Fort
No, it's a fair critique. Courtesy of me.
Yeah, so that was also like one of the things, and I guess we can also start talking about this a little bit. When I started working with Narrows, one of the first things I talked with them is just like, hey, listen, we need a year-round hazy IPA we can be working with, because there are people out here who are making hazy IPAs that do not taste what hazy IPAs are supposed to taste like. And that was like my biggest like pet project while working at Narrows was Tempest, our year-round hazy IPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it came from your perspective of like being basically in the part of the country where that that style was kind of pioneered and like first made popular.
Yep.
Makes me want to retry that beer now. I have a new perspective myself.
And it's also it's changed a lot since we first started making it. Like definitely the biggest change that we made to it, because our brewers, like our guys writing our recipes, Parker and AJ, are just they're super talented. One of the biggest things that like we were super excited about, just because there are not a lot of people doing it large scale on the beer scene yet, is that we started working with thiolized yeasts.
Yeah.
So for folks who don't know, thiol is normally a aroma compound that's found in like white wine, things like that. If you have a brewery that used phantasm powder, they're using it to get thiols. Omega yeasts down in Oregon, they made a genetically modified version of Sierra Nevada's Chico yeast called Helios Gazer that produces thiols along with all the typical fruity esters and things like that. So it's not a lot of people are using it on a large scale right now, but like we spent months kind of like working it, R&Ding it, trying to figure out how to work it as best we can, and it gave us the ability to make a really powerful hazy IPA at like a pretty like affordable price for us.
Right. And not like a super high ABV.
Yeah,
like
no,
not
so
super
it was like
punchy.
Yeah, so it was only 6%, like really big. Like the aroma on the nose that comes from using that thiolized yeast is insane.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You get like, and the other like really crazy part is that, and it's one of those things where I feel so out of my depth talking about this, but like, you can do these small hop additions into the mash.
Yep.
That are then like they have like these huge effects later on down the line, but they're not in any way that makes sense. So like one of the craziest ones is that
I can help with this.
If you add a little bit of Cascade into the mash on most beers, the end effect you're going to get from it is guava.
Correct.
Which is like not at all a flavor you would ever associate with Cascade. Like
So, real quick, because we're running out of time and we need a fuck up story. But when you add hops like that early into the mash, you can actually break out thiol precursors. And thiols are really complex chains, kind of like we talked about with sugars and fermentation and stuff. But thiolized yeast basically nips off the end of those chains and makes it much more accessible. And so those aromas will actually like be accessible and volatilize in the actual fermentation and stuff. But you can't get those things unless you actually like, same thing with the enzymes and stuff in malt. You need accessibility to those things for the thiolized yeast to actually be able to nip the ends off the chains. But that's why you add them in the mash. So you're giving yeast access to thiolized precursors, thiol precursors.
this is always the kind of thing where I would like get to an account and I would start explaining it to it, and I'm just like, if you really want to know more, I can bring Parker down here and we can talk to you for like 15
Their
minutes
eyes
about
just
it.
start
Like,
dilating at you. They're just
It's like he and AJ are both like they're just such scientifically minded brewers where like they get like so kind of lost in the minutia of it that like every once in a while I just kind of have to like I had to kind of let them talk and just be like, okay, but like give me 3 words to describe the flavors. Like,
this is why you guys need a salesperson.
Parker's a USC Davis grad, right?
Yes, he is.
And lowercase alum.
Yeah, so he's a lowercase alum.
Nice foreshadowing, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, his whole kind of thing with starting Narrows is that he's also a commercial fisherman. So he commercially fishes for 2 months out of the year, and as he puts it, there's not a lot of breweries that are cool with you just taking off during 2 of the busiest months of the year.
He's like, so I better just own my own.
Yeah, so it was
make
just,
sure.
it was just easier for him after a while. Just like, I'll own my own, and I can if I'm my own boss, I can take off 2 months a year. Like,
Oh man.
but it's definitely one of those things that was always fun to talk about. Where it's like, you know, there's so many different nautical themed breweries in the Pacific Northwest, but we were the only one owned and operated by a commercial fisherman.
Word.
Which I still
On the water, too.
Yeah, and we're a
That's
nice
true.
waterfront. I also always say that we have the best view of any brewery in Tacoma. It's
I
a
would
matter
second
of
that.
you get a very niche category and
Agreed.
you own it, you know?
Agreed. True. Yep.
We're like dialing down time.
I have a feeling that not only we're going to have a fuck up story, I think we're going to have a fucked up fuck up story.
All right, illustrious grit and grain guests. Now it's time to throw down on some fuck-up stories. I am Sean Jackson. Challenge flag has been set. Bar is high. Bring it on, fuckers.
From me?
Matt.
From him.
You
maybe. Got one too.
I actually
I
have
don't
a couple.
know. Both
However,
you guys.
you go first. Mine can be short. If you don't have one, I do have one.
Well, as far as like, can we get the parameters of this? It's a
If you
Something that's happened to you that's not good.
Oh God.
or that you did.
So I can definitely say
It's a real vulnerable moment.
Here's one that I will say, and this was
Escape
definitely
death.
one of this is probably one of the biggest fuck ups, not only in my professional life, but also probably in my marriage, which is a big one here. So at Union, every 3 years, we had this huge trade show where like we'd rent out a large New York City Expo Center. We would fly in all of our breweries from around the country and around the world. So like there would be people like, we're seeing some of the brewers from Hitachino, we're seeing some of the brewers from Chimay.
Oh, wow.
Like we're seeing people come from all over the world for this huge, huge festival, and it's basically an opportunity for us to show the entire portfolio and all in one place. No one leaves that bar no one leaves that expo not blacked
Just
out
not
drunk.
falling over.
Like, and I remember the beer that put me over is that they brought out a 12-year aged 200 anniversary Chimay Grand Reserve.
Oh.
So it was the kind of thing that literally,
I
like,
want
as
that
people
so
were
bad.
filing out, the Chimay guys brought that out as just like a way to say, like, fuck you to all people trying to clear the expo center. Yeah. And I remember I drank that. I remember getting into my bedroom, turning on the light, my wife just waking up in bed, just being like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh yeah. I have a wife here. And I definitely that was like one of the few cases where my wife was just like, listen, I enjoy getting all the free beer perks most of the time, but don't do that again. Like,
I've been pretty fucking drunk. I've never been forgot I have a wife drunk.
Yeah, good job getting to the right bed.
Dude, yeah.
You're not my wife.
I'm sure that was my wife.
that is like one of the things I definitely do miss about the New York City beer scene is like I could get really messed up at events and at least know I have a way to get home. Like,
That's fucking true. I just lime scooter at home every time. Most times.
Are those around still?
that's I know.
All right, Grit and Grainers. Email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and names for the boats moored below Narrows Brewing, such as Sailor Swift, Gravy Boat, Sea Pinto, Old Styrofoam Sides, Anchor Management, Breaking Wind, and of course, Orcamite Red. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as fast as we can, if not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. And please leave us a review. Also, check us out on Channel 253 and thegritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for episode notes, beer news, and Manhattan taverns for sale. And don't let anyone tell you there are no tavern bargains in Manhattan anymore. Why, we just found a spiffy one with running water and an actual window, and 91% wood rot and a dozen used syringes in the entryway, a small herd of decomposing squirrels in the 3-compartment sink, and for an amazing $16,000 a week, not including the $1,000 breathing deposit and the $2,000 light bulb tax, and the hot oil rubdowns you'll have to give the fetid hirsute landlord every Tuesday before the spankings. If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter expectations. Since Saturday is World Bartender Day, please remember if an Olympic gymnast walks in the bar, she will receive a 2-point deduction.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Good up.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Interchangeable White Ladies, Move to Tacoma, Crossing Division, Citizen Tacoma, What Say You, We Are Tacoma, Flounders B Team, and Taco Man.
This is Channel 253.